But I found that the more that a phrase is impactful to me, the more likely I am to integrate it into my living. It seems to me that a lot of the great people of the past, their many famous sayings, really have very similar meanings. It's as though, despite the diverse array of disciplines, they're all trying to get to one universal truth. A lot of the challenges we face as humans are universal because they're existential. The dilemma of mortality, for example, is a problem that we all have. It's sewn into the fabric of being. These types of problems are the great levelers. No one is exempt. And so I think in some ways it could be fair to say that we as humans are more united because of the nature of our problems rather than the individual traits of our character. What I'm realizing now is that it is very important for us to find our own way of saying things. It is essential that we personalize wisdom. Two quotes may mean basically the exact same thing, but depending on how they're worded, they can hit a person very, very differently. The more we relate to it on a personal level, the more likely we are to embrace it and integrate it into our living. Nietzsche, one with a Y can bear almost any how. Murakami, I can bear any pain as long as it has a meaning. Kierkegaard, anxiety is the dizziness of freedom. Kafka, I am free, and that is why I am lost. Frankl, what is to give off light must endure burning. Octavia E. Butler, in order to rise from its own ashes, a phoenix must first burn. It's strange, it's almost as if all these writers, in their own roundabout way from the paths of their own lives, they've all sort of gotten to the same kind of crystal, the butterfly, the thing that is to be attained. But in accordance with their path, with where the region in which they find themselves in, it's going to colour the message, The colouring of their own character is going to influence the wording. I try to think of a metaphor for this because it's quite an obscure concept. And I came up with this. Look, I really think that whether you are a golfer, whether you are a songwriter, whether you are a writer, or anything like that, consciously or unconsciously, you are trying to find some crystal of truth in the world. Through your experience, through your knowledge, through your relationships, anything. But we're all trying to find something like that. And people will define it in different ways depending on their occupation and such. Writers are in pursuit of truth in its purest, most exact form, and their mode of capture is the written word. And so these explorers, they go off into distant regions and lands, deserts, jungles, savannas, mountain ranges, in the hope of catching a butterfly, let's say, the ever elusive symbol of nature. Right? Their net is the written word. And it's almost as if in their little nuggets of truth, their quotes, their saying, their adages, their memoirs, their books, anything that sort of encapsulates all that they learnt in their life. It's as if you have like a case and you have each butterfly depending on the region or species or something like that. And that is a collection of their lives. That is their life's work in a way. And the different patterns, the different colours will be dependent on the region, will be dependent on where that person went on their journey. And I think it is so important for us, we have all of this at our fingertips, the books, the sources of knowledge, that these people have left behind after their death. And I think it is our responsibility to look at their work, their butterflies, and view the patterns, the shapes, the colours that speak to us. Not really much of a conscious thing. I like this because of the rectangular shape. I like this because of the orangey colour. It's more of just something that clicks in your mind, And I really do think that if you could have two quotes that mean more or less the same thing like we've gone through, one will just make more sense to you, even though they're trying to convey the same message. And just in the same way, imagine yourself looking at that butterfly and just being captivated by its form. Not because of any kind of conscious deliberation, but because it just is more beautiful to you. Beauty really is in the eye of the beholder. Right, and I truly think that if we compile quotes that speak to us on that more personal, individual level, then we are much more likely to live by them, be much more likely to live fuller lives. Yeah, so I'd say whilst you're on your journey, as I am on mine, to capture the butterflies that look the most appealing to us in the regions that look the most enticing, also learn from the specimens of the other adventurers that have come before us. The shapes, the patterns, the colours that intrigue you, and learn from them. Embrace the power of words, basically, and the words that are especially impactful to you. That's the message of this video in its most basic form.